sports fans? I'm your host, Antoine Jackson.
And I'm Nicholas Austin Holiday, and we're Between Classic Sports.
And yeah, we're going to talk about the top 25 along with the Florida schools. Nick, can you give us the scores? What do you have for us today? What's going on?
Well, with the Florida schools, we had Florida State beating Citadel 37-12. We had Miami beating Florida A&M University 41-7. We had UF over Eastern Michigan 65-0. We had US actually lose to Maryland 17-24. We had UCF actually lose to Penn State, where they played in Croke Park, Dublin, with a score of 24-26. FIU beat Wagner 34-3. FAU lost to Alabama 0-41. Bethune-Cookman University beat FIU 14-12. And Southeastern, with their very first home game, lost to Faulkner 45-24. So Antoine, which Florida school do you want to talk about first and break down the game a little bit?
We can talk about anybody. With FIU, we're going to talk about that. First of all, the last time Bethune played, they played FIU, so that's why you had FIU with Wagner and FIU with Bethune. But the last 2 years, Bethune has defeated the FIU Golden Panthers, so that needs to be recognized and, pointed out in the state. So we're going to give Bethune some pub right now. Florida State, which is your school, the school that you roll with, they are number one still. You have to respect that. They defeated the Citadel. Anything you want to talk about with Florida State?
It's what we expected. Florida State came out. They handled Citadel pretty easily. Citadel's not an easy offense to prepare for. They run, the funky triple option, which is always hard for a team to prepare for when they're only playing it one time in the season. But, Florida State was very efficient in the first half, scoring on every possession they had. And, once the second half came around, Jimbo Fisher wanted to get his backups in and get some play. So, of course, Citadel scored on the backups that came in, which are mostly freshmen and sophomores. But Florida State handled them pretty easily. Even though the score may not be a blowout, the score is not a blowout because he wasn't trying to run a score. He just wanted to get his backups in because you always want to get them reps for later on in the season. But let's talk about FAMU and UM, Twan. I know UM is your school.
Yeah.
What do you think about the game?
Well, I really didn't see the game after the performance against Louisville. I kind of, took a little break. It's a highly anticipated season for Hurricane fans. We want to get some W's. Al Golden is looking for that first signature win. Right now he has a freshman playing, so the expectations, the speed is there. We see a lot of talent. A lot of people are upset with the offensive play calling. So James Coley, I know he's a Miami native. I would think he knows a little bit better, but they want him to get Duke Johnson out of some screens, draws, toss sweeps. Open up the playbook basically, kitchen sink. Do what you got to do. Basically, the way people are seeing things going right now, some are thinking maybe the Canes might not do anything, but as me, as a Hurricane, I'm like, you never know with these guys. Those things can be fixed in-house, so we'll see what happens. I'm still screaming, we're going to see these guys in the ACC Championship. A lot of people say, what are you talking about? But, I bleed orange and green. I can't help it. So, that's just what it is right now. And, looking at UCF, they've lost a couple of things. Will they be exposed this year?
Unfortunately, yes. When you have Blake Bortles that goes to the NFL in the top 3 picks, you have your running back Storm Johnson that went to the NFL. So it's going to be a little rebuilding. UCF doesn't recruit on an elite level where they can just plug and play every year. So they're going to have to build back up. They're going to have to get some pieces. And Coach O'Leary out there, he usually does a pretty good job with the team. So I think you give them another couple years and they'll be contenders again.
So UCF, if they have nothing else, they have stability, basically.
Exactly.
How long has he been there, O'Leary? About 15 years or something?
O'Leary's been there for a while.
Seemed like it. Did he coach Dante Culpepper? I know.
No, I don't think he was there with Dante Culpepper.
He's been there for a while, though, so I know that, definitely. Also, looking at the situation, who else we got here? FAU play Alabama.
It's what we expected. Nick Saban, run, pass offense, hand the ball off to your running backs, let them run up the middle. FAU is not. They haven't really been a contender. Maybe 1 or 2 years from what I know about FAU. So
all the talent in South Florida couldn't do nothing with. Not enough. It's Alabama.
Well, even FIU has had some really good years where they've been able to get some of that talent But FAU seems to be the odd man out when it comes to the South Florida talent.
But one thing I heard that coach, not to cut you off, I heard that coach for FAU now, I heard he's a pretty good coach and he's going to get that program together. Time will tell, but I heard he's pretty good.
Yeah, he actually coached Jordan Scarlett.
Yeah.
And in high school, Jordan Scarlett, the running back that committed to Miami, he coached Jordan Scarlett. Jordan Scarlett committed there. Nobody expected the commitment to stick. It was just one of those things that kind of helped the class out, help his former coach out, try to get some guys in. But and he flipped just like everybody expected. But it'd be nice to see FAU get a little talent in there and just compete every now and then.
Well, anytime you're in the state of Florida, you get the right coaching, you get the right scheme, who knows what can happen. You get your June Jones as an offensive coordinator, just hypothetically speaking. But, you get some spread offense, get some guys to run that. Like I tell anybody, you're in the state of Florida, the mailman running 4.340, you never know. The weather's like that, you're getting your mail extra fast, the mailman's running the 4.3. That's just how it is,
So how about we just go into a little bit of UF and University of Florida and Eastern Michigan. As we pretty much know, last year UF had no offense at all. Put Coach Muschamp on the hot seat because they had no offense. They pretty much haven't had an offense the entire time he's been there. But they always have a great defense. Always have a really good defense. So, what do you think about them this year?
Well, I didn't really see the Gators. I heard about them. I have inside sources that follow the Gators program a little closely than I do. However, I'm hearing Treon Harris looked pretty good. Driscoll, time will tell. I don't know. I heard he wasn't that impressive. The score was 65-0. The running game, I hear Fred Taylor's son is looking like Fred Taylor's son, basically. So you take that how you want to take it. But Fred Taylor's son is looking like Fred Taylor's son from what I'm hearing.
Yep, and I'm not sure, but I predict him to overtake Matt Jones if he hasn't already.
It sounds like that's already happened. Whatever happened in the offseason, in Gainesville, I'm hearing is Fred Taylor Jr. or Kelvin Taylor, but we're gonna call him Fred Jr. Fred's boy.
And I think everybody's waiting for Will Grier. I think that's the quarterback of the future for them.
Well, they saying that, but Treon down there from Booker T.
Mm-hmm.
And they say Treon has locked up the number 2 spot. Him and Will Grier came in the same year. I don't know if somebody's either gonna transfer or redshirt. I don't know. But right now the inside track is with Treon, but we'll see. Right now Driscoll's a starter. We'll see how the season. It's a long season. Thank heavens, college football. You know how that is, and not to leave out the Louisville guys up there. A lot of Florida kids. Charlie Strong had a lot of players from Florida. Defense looked pretty fast and things like that. So shout out to them. Even though you're not in the Florida school, we see when the Florida kids go elsewhere. So one time for them.
All right. Well, we're gonna take things to break, and we'll be right back.
All right.
Hello, my name is Toby Scott.
And hello, my name is Enrico Chow. And I'd like to congratulate all the new businesses out there and from Chow Scott Key Saves.
What we provide in the Tampa Bay community is we provide headshots, banners, business cards, and postcards.
And on our link, on our website and link, you can also click the which one that best fits you. And we'd like to hear from you soon.
Congratulations.
We back once again. This is Antoine Jackson here with Between the Classes magazine. Here with my co-host
Nicholas Austin Holiday.
And this week's recap is sponsored by Clip Video Internet Broadcasting, or CVOD. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about the top 25. So Nick, let's talk about the Big Ten, since the big bad Big Ten. Let's talk about them, Nick. What you want to say?
The Big Ten has been the worst of the Power 5 conferences the last 2 seasons. This season's just getting started, but if you want to count this past Saturday, the Big Ten looks bad.
Bad.
One of your marquee programs, Michigan State, gets knocked off. Another one of your marquee programs, Ohio State, gets knocked off.
Oh, it was supposed to be their debut. They were showing it was like Big Ten debuting.
Exactly.
They didn't show up in the big game. Okay, I see what you're saying.
Another one of your marquee programs, Michigan, gets
31-0.
Gets demolished by Notre Dame.
Yeah, that definitely happened. That definitely happened.
So it was a rough Saturday for the Big Ten. Nebraska barely beat McNeese State.
Dog fight.
And don't get me wrong, McNeese State has a solid program. They beat USF at the beginning of last season.
They got a lot of transfers from Division I, D1 transfers. So y'all heard about that. With the Michigan State played Oregon, a.k.a. the money team. Oregon, some people feel they should be ranked number 1. The offense, It looked like it was tight for a minute. People thought for a minute, okay, the same Oregon team, they're gonna lose again. Then all of a sudden, the explosion happened, and Oregon just took off. Mariota, he didn't run too much with his legs, but he was dangerous. He looking like the front runner for the Heisman. Him and with Todd Gurley. So what you think about Oregon?
Marcus Mariota, what I think about him? Marcus Mariota looks great out there. A 6'4", 210, 215-pound quarterback with 4.3, 4.4 speed.
But did you see the DB from Oregon though? Oregon
Yeah.
has a DB. I think he's number 14. We have to find out who he is later on, people. But All-American, looking like Jim Thorpe, everything right now. Very nice DB.
He has a very interesting name, Ola Efre. I don't know exactly his name, but right now he's projected being one of the top cornerbacks in the
country.
NFL draft.
Yeah, definitely. So you got to see him. So Oregon keeps speed on the outside. So and the uniforms is always nice. So we'll see what they're gonna do. It comes a time when they have to get physical. Stanford doesn't look like the same Stanford team. They lost to USC. USC coming off that probation situation, big time win. They're in the top 10 now. I don't know. So basically, what you think about USC? Do you think it's fool's gold, or they got a good win, or?
Well, it was definitely a very good win for USC. Minus Pat Hayden coming onto the field arguing with the referees. You don't do that as an athletic director. You stay up in the box and you mind your business and let the guys play. You don't come down to argue a call for your head coach to the referees.
Well,
That's not what you do.
I guess he feel like USC been down, a lot of pressure built up, emotions. AD say, hey referee, listen here, come talk to me, brother.
But what I will say is I don't think USC is quite there yet. Stanford forgot how to get into the end zone. They had plenty of chances.
I heard about that.
Stanford could have won the game by multiple touchdowns if they would have executed and gotten into the end zone when they were close.
Didn't do it.
But they didn't. I'm not taking anything away from USC. They played a tough game, but I'm going to put it more on Stanford not executing, and that's the reason why they lost the game.
What about VTech knocking off Ohio State? That's a big win for the ACC. A big enough, Ohio State, they cool, but VTech is a respectable program. Frank Beamer's been there for a long time, 15, 20 years. So, what do you think about that?
Virginia Tech has been going downhill a lot. They've been going downhill a lot. Frank Beamer, he's just not fielding the same teams that he used to. But they typically have a very solid defense. And what Frank Beamer did in the game was he put on a clinic of how to sack the quarterback.
Vicious clinic.
Because it doesn't matter what protections they have, no matter what Urban Meyer did, they kept sacking. Was it J.T. Barrett?
Yeah.
They kept sacking him. I think they ended the game with 7 sacks.
He looked confused. When you get hit like that many times, just things gonna look a little blurry, confusing.
It's like he just kept running. He kept running for the sideline, and the sideline greeted him, because if the sideline didn't greet him, the defensive players were going to greet him and sack him again.
Can VTech run the ACC?
No. VTech cannot run the ACC yet. They're not there yet. Very good defense, but their offense still has some work to do, and I don't know if VTech is going to get right under the current coaching staff. I don't know if that's the staff to do it.
Can they get over the hump?
I don't see it.
Will they ever get a national championship is the question.
Not under the current coaching staff, no.
Not with Jimbo over there in Tallahassee.
No, and don't get me wrong. They have a chance in the Coastal. The Coastal's real muddy right now. There's a lot of teams that can come out of the Coastal.
No reason why Miami shouldn't be taking over the Coastal either, just to let that be known. There's no reason why Miami should not own that side of the division. But, yeah, it's very muddy right now.
So, you have Miami that can come out. You have Virginia Tech that can come out. Possibly Duke that can come out, as they came out last year, even though they got served pretty handily in the ACC championship game.
They say North Carolina has talent. We'll see. But, usually we in the thick of things every year in the Coastal. We just got to turn that corner. It's a lot of pressure on Al Golden. Not to make this a hurricane segment, but, the natives are getting restless. I can say that much. But with LSU, what about Texas A&M?
Texas A&M, what I just say about Texas A&M is they look good.
What's the quarterback name?
Is it Kenny Hill?
Kenny Trill. Kenny Trill, people. Come on now.
They look good. Especially, I'm gonna go back to their first game when they played South Carolina, and he put on a passing clinic out there. But what I will say is he had wide open receivers running around. You know, I can't take away from him because you still have to complete the passes.
You know, I'm a Hurricane fan. I know all about that. Yes, you do.
So, but you know, they look good. I'm not predicting. I'm not picking them to win.
Can it beat Alabama? The last 2 years, Nick Saban has caught everything he wants with Sumlin. I don't know if anybody's noticed this. The last 2 years, Alabama hasn't come to play. And this year, they got a couple of freshman corners.
Johnny Football's in the NFL though.
They say Kenny Trill. Kenny Trill, people.
If Kenny Hill can match, Kenny Trill, can match,
They call him Kenny Trill.
if he can match Johnny Manziel's production at Texas A&M,
He smashed all the records first game.
The passing records he did.
Yeah, and then they threw up 70 in game 2.
But
Even though it was a low team, 70.
If he can have that body of work across his career, he'll be a really good quarterback for them. Really good quarterback.
He definitely looking like NFL material right now.
So speaking of, you know, just talking about them being in Alabama, what do you think about Alabama? You know, what are the plays? How do you think they're looking in the SEC right now?
Alabama looking like a machine. I mean, honestly, like if you can make them pass the ball, you probably have a chance. But stopping that running game, I don't know if that's possible. I don't know if that's humanly possible, unless you maybe get you a couple of tractor trailers and a couple of garbage trucks out there to stop that offense, because that running game, even with the quarterback, they just moving people out the way right now. Period.
And their offensive line coach isn't it actually Mario Cristobal, who was I believe their offensive line coach is Mario Cristobal, who was actually the head coach at FIU when they were a pretty solid team. Still not sure why FIU got rid of them, but they're paying for it now.
Yeah. Nick Saban does his homework. He does his homework, and with Alabama is nothing fancy. It's nothing new. Nothing cute. Just simple, downset height, and we'll talk to you later on. Meet me at the end zone, basically.
Run the ball down your throat the entire game. What do you think about Notre Dame, Michigan?
Everett Golson's looking nice. He's came back. You know, he was out for a year. Probably seen how life was without football. When a situation like that'll humble you. So he's come back. So he's probably matured a couple of years already. And it's a great story. I don't know if they talked about Manti Te'o, they definitely got to talk about Everett Golson. So, but the way he's doing it right now, y'all play them this year. Florida State plays Notre Dame this year.
Yes, that's going to be a very good game. It's up in Tallahassee. I'm gonna roll with Florida State over Notre Dame, but you never know in a game like that.
Well, remember last time Notre Dame came to Tallahassee?
The Champ Sports Bowl.
Well, the time when they went to Dope.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Different.
Shocked everybody like, whoa, I don't know.
I believe that Notre Dame is going to. I believe that Notre Dame is going to be the reason that Brady Hoke gets fired at Michigan. The first Michigan team to be shut out. Not sure if it's shut out in general or shut out at home.
31-0.
Since about 1984, you don't let that happen.
It's about time to go.
Yeah, you don't let that happen. Brady Hoke's recruited at a high level at Michigan.
Extremely.
So for you to recruit at a high level, for you to have a top receiver like Devin Funches, have a pretty solid quarterback in Gardner, and to still get blown out like that at home, that's unacceptable.
They've been regressing the last couple of seasons, and the booster club, that doesn't sit too well. In Ohio State, if he wins that game, maybe he can save his job if he lasts to that point of the season. But 31-0, I don't know.
We have the 14 playoff coming this year. Do you have a list of your teams that you would put in the top 4 so far?
Oregon, Alabama. You got to go Florida State, even though I hate to say it like that. But
it's okay. Just let it out. It's okay.
And right now, probably Texas A&M. Right now, from what I see, I like Texas A&M.
Okay. Right now, I would go with Florida State. I'm actually gonna go with Auburn. I'm gonna go with Auburn to win the SEC. They won last year, and even though everybody picked Alabama to win, the SEC slash SEC West. That Auburn ground game, if Nick Marshall continues to improve as a passer, they have one of those offenses that's going to be almost impossible to stop.
The backup quarterback looked nice too.
Exactly.
For Auburn, looked very nice, very dangerous. Auburn, a team to watch out. They've been handling business the last couple of years, from last year to right now. So Auburn's not a bad team to watch out for. And don't think, even though they lost to Florida State, don't be surprised if they're back in the thick of things. Only thing is Alabama, Auburn, and Texas A&M, they all play each other, so they'll be able to figure everything out. Auburn, he likes Auburn, I like A&M. Some people like Alabama, no reason not to. But they all going to play each other to get everything sorted out, though. And I heard Georgia, your cousin Nick Chubb out there.
Man,
Georgia's looking like a threat.
Georgia's running game is
Obsolete.
If Georgia's 1A in the nation, Alabama would be 1B. Georgia's running game, you got Todd Gurley, the number 1 running back in the nation. What is he? 6'2", 230, running a 4.5, running it. He ran a kickoff back against Clemson.
Did you see the dude fall off his back?
This man is out. This man is out there running over everybody. Their running game is ridiculous right now. You don't even need. Do you even need a passing game when you can just hand the ball off in the backfield and you have the freshmen?
Is that with 9 in the box?
They ran all over Clemson.
Clemson had 9 in the box.
It looked like Clemson had 11 in the box. I didn't even see any cornerbacks on the field. I thought they brought in reserve linebackers, and they ran it. They ran it on them all game. It was ridiculous. I mean, don't get me wrong. In the first half, Clemson, it was a tough game. But when you got to that third quarter and you could tell the defense started getting a little bit tired.
Fatigue.
It became the Gurley show.
Oh man, Clemson's a nice ball club. Not to disrespect them any type of way or anything like that, but college football, anything goes, and you got your Clemsons, your South Carolinas, Steve Spurrier looking suspect. Nobody's really believing that what he's selling right now. The Gators looking for redemption. Georgia want to take the East again. But like I said, we got to play this game out because Florida and Georgia has to go at it. But if you're playing at a school outside of Florida, I'm going to roll with a Florida school just to let the people know that. Nothing personal, but, that's just how it is. So, with Florida State, this season, should look pretty decent. People are saying what they can and can't do, but, I know they're a young team, so they're gelling, getting some things together right now. So, they're trying to find that mojo right now. So, it's going to be an interesting season. LSU is looking dangerous with the freshman Leonard Fournette. And, basically we're just going to see what's going on. With the top 25, you never know who can come in, who can get out. Hopefully Miami can get some things together and, come around full swing. We still got the Classic coming this year. Can't ever forget that. So, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Just remember my top 4 for the playoff. Florida State, Auburn, Oregon, Oklahoma.
Who gonna win the championship?
I gotta go with Florida State. I have to go with Florida State right now. But you know what? I hope Florida State, the way Oregon's looking right now, I hope Florida State don't have to run into them. I would rather Florida State play Oklahoma out of any of those 3 teams right now. But you know what? It's the beginning of the season. All the teams right now, everybody's just gelling and molding together. Things don't really start to take form until about mid-season when you can really see a lot of these big matchups are tough earlier in the season. A lot of nerves, a lot of young kids. They're different teams. You can't compare the team to the way the team played last year. It's a completely different team with a new chemistry. Every year's a different team. So we'll follow this season, see how things play out, and I think it'll be a really exciting ride for us this year.
So definitely, every weekend is a holiday. Don't ever forget that. If it's football on TV, it's a holiday, especially on Saturday with college football. So don't forget, ladies, plenty of groceries in the refrigerator, everything at a low minimum, and everything gonna be good. Definitely. So y'all be safe out there.
All right, I'm Nicholas Austin Holiday, and
Antoine Jackson,
and this is Between Classes Sports.
You know how we do it, we have funky music in our ear. We get to writing, ain't no fighting, we just in there trying to win. Ooh yeah, la-di-da, we grinding hard. Ooh yeah, we not gonna stop. Yeah, 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 yeah. Too late to turn back now. I got work to do. On a mission, by my business, I'm pushing through, no slacking. Make it happen, we grinding hard. We grinding hard. You know how we do when we have funky music in our ear. We get to writing, ain't no fighting, we just in there trying to win. Ooh yeah, la-di-da, we grinding hard. Ooh yeah, we not gonna stop. Yeah, 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 yeah. Too late to turn back now. I got work to do. On a mission, by my business, I'm pushing through, no slacking. Make it happen, we grinding hard. We grinding hard. You know how we do when we have funky music in our ear. We get to writing, ain't no fighting, we just in there trying to win. Ooh yeah, la-di-da, we grinding hard. Ooh yeah, we not gonna stop. Yeah, 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 yeah. Too late to turn back now. I got work to do. On a mission, by my business, I'm pushing through,